Everybody, I'm Megan Coleman. I'm one of the librarians at Howe Library, and thanks for tuning in to another episode of Cooking with Howe. I thought it'd be fun to grab a cookbook from the new shelf and make a recipe out of it. And it's a recipe that I've obviously looked at it, I've read it because I need ingredients, right? But I've never made it before, so we'll see. It'll be kind of a fun experiment. Hopefully it comes out well. So today we're going to be looking at the Little Swedish Kitchen by Rachel Khoo. And what I really like about it, it's a really gorgeous, it's really pretty inside. It has really great photography, but each section of the cookbook is recipes from a different season. So it's really pretty. I don't know what that is. Chilled cucumber soup with roasted yogurt granada for summer. But what I'm making today, oh, and this rhubarb cake looks really great too, right? Woohoo! It's rhubarb and custard. Look at that. Look at that. That's from spring. But today on page 124, we're going to be making some oat cookies. Or as Rachel tells us in Swedish, it is, and I apologize for my butchered Swedish, it is Harflarn? Something like that. So she says in her little description right here that she discovered this in a local stationery shop that she went to because they had coffee and biscuits out for customers, which I just think sounds amazing. And while the classic recipe uses sugar, flour, and butter, hers uses very ripe bananas as kind of your main ingredient. And then as she put it, she meant for it to be healthy because of the bananas, but then she added chocolate because, well, she had good intentions. So this makes 24 cookies, normally 2 inches round. I don't have a 2-inch cookie cutter. And as I read in the New York Times cooking section in the last month or so, recipes are just suggestions at this point, and you have to improvise. So I'm going to be using pretty much all the ingredients you're supposed to use, but we're going to use an English muffin tin to round these out so they're going to be bigger. And hopefully that works out okay. So let's get started. So the first thing Rachel says in her recipe is to preheat your oven to 220 centigrade, fan 200, gas 7. That means nothing to me. So I'm hoping that the Google calculator website I found will work. The math is right, and that equals about 425. So preheat your oven to 425. So Rachel also says here to blitz then the bananas with a stick blender along with a pinch of salt and cinnamon or vanilla powder. You can choose either or until you have a smooth puree. I don't have a stick blender, but I do have a little mini food processor, so we're going to give that a shot and see what happens. So I already have 200 grams of ripe banana plopped in this food processor, and I'm going to put about a teaspoon of ground cinnamon. Pretty much everything in this cookbook is in grams or milliliters, so I would say if you don't have a scale, that could be maybe annoying just because you have to do a lot of math, but I happen to have a scale, so that part really wasn't an issue for me. I'm going to say that worked out okay, because that definitely looks very, where's my camera? Puree-like. All right, so then we're going to mix this in with 150 grams, which I'm told is also about 2 cups because I had to borrow some oats from Mom. Thanks, Mom. Into this puree mixture. They're looking like oat cookies, I guess. So next we're going to lay out the cookies on the mix into cookies on our baking sheet. I'm using one of those reusable silicone liners. She recommends you line with what she calls quote unquote baking paper, which I'm assuming is parchment paper, which makes sense because these look like they will stick pretty well to your pan otherwise. She also says you don't have to use a cookie cutter at all. You really just want it The trick is to get an even layer that's a couple millimeters thick, but that I'm not really good at that, so I'm gonna still use the cookie cutter. I'm gonna use a bigger one than she said. So these English, she calls for about a 6 centimeter, which I guess is 2.3 inches, give or take. And these English muffin rings are like about 3.5 in diameter. So, oops, we'll see what happens. So this normally makes 24 cookies. I just made 6 giant ones. Hopefully this works out okay. Because really when you want cookies, like, you're gonna eat more than 2 anyway, right? Might as well just make it 1 serving size. So we're gonna bake these for 10 to 15 minutes until the edges are golden brown, and then we're going to flip them and cook them for another 10 minutes. Or at least that's the plan. All right, so I just took them out of the oven after flipping them over, and they look like this, and they probably are pretty tasty. I'll take a quick bite for you. Oh, science. Are not too bad, but I think they need the chocolate to like bring it all together, to be honest. So I'm gonna do a little camera action magic here. I already went ahead and melted some chocolate. And I'm going to stick them. She says to put them on the flat side of the cookie. But to be honest, they're both kind of flat, so that's fine. So we'll drizzle a healthy dollop, I would say, on all these. And again, you don't have to do this part, but I think, and I use cinnamon again instead of vanilla, but I think maybe they're vanilla. Well, they still probably taste really good. I have a feeling they might be a little bit more crispy if I had done smaller, so these big ones. But that's all right. I say that partly also because as you can tell, with like this one, parts of it didn't quite come off the pan easily, so oops. All right. And you can also, if you want to, but again, completely optional, but I'm gonna put it on a few of them. You can put sea salt on yours if you want. So we'll do a drizzling that. So taste test number 2 with the chocolate, even though it's still kind of melty. Probably tastes better if you let it completely settle, but whatever. No, you want chocolate on this. Oh my god, these are so good. Yeah, make these with the chocolate. And the sea salt's a nice touch too, but I think even if you didn't put the sea salt, I think you would like it much better with the chocolate. Yeah. Because the cinnamon tastes good when you just eat it plain, but with the chocolate it kind of takes it up a good notch. So I'm going to put a link in the description below this video to put a hold on this item in our catalog, and because we are currently offering library takeout service, you can just click on there, put it on hold, and when it's ready we will send you an email and you can come pick it up at our library takeout service, which takes place Monday to Saturday from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. and then from 4 to 6 p.m. So thanks for watching. I hope you give this cookbook a try, and we'll see you next time for another episode of Cooking with Howe.